इंडोनेशिया की सरकार ने पाम तेल और बाकी नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज पे बड़ा फैसला किया है। अपनी संसद में इंडोनेशिया के राष्ट्रपति ने कहा कि उनका देश दुनिया में सबसे ज्यादा पाम तेल का उत्पादन है। फिर दूसरे देश उनके दाम कैसे तय करते हैं, लेकिन अब ऐसा नहीं होगा। इंडोनेशिया दाम तय करेगा और जिसे खरीदना है वो खरीदे, नहीं तो वो इस्तेमाल उसे कर लेंगे। वहीं इंटरनेशनल मार्केट्स में कॉटन के दाम एक हफ्ते के निचले स्तर पर हैं और इंडस्ट्री सरकार से इंपोर्ट ड्यूटी हटाने की मांग कर रही है। इन सबको इंडस्ट्री कैसे देखती है, इस पर बात करने के लिए हमारे साथ आईवीपीए के प्रेसिडेंट सुधाकर देसाई हैं, कॉटन एसोसिएशन ऑफ इंडिया के प्रेसिडेंट विनय कोटक हैं एंड मोतीलाल ओसवाल से नवनीत दमानी है। लेकिन सबसे पहले बात हम यहाँ पर पाम तेल की करेंगे। स्ट्रॉन्ग स्टेटमेंट्स यहाँ पर इंडोनेशिया की तरफ से आती हुई नजर आई हैं। अब जो भी एक्सपोर्ट्स होंगे वो स्टेट एजेंसी के द्वारा होंगे और इस ट्रांजिशन के लिए 3 से ज्यादा महीने का समय यहां पर इंडस्ट्री को दिया भी जाएगा। काफी सारी क्लैरिफिकेशंस सुधाकर जी इसके बाद हमने इंडोनेशिया से आते हुए देखी भी हैं। आप ज्यादा जानते होंगे क्या कुछ इस वक्त यहां पर सिचुएशन है, और इंडिया जो कि इतना बड़ा पाम ऑयल इंपोर्टर है, इंडोनेशिया सबसे बड़ा एक्सपोर्टर है, किस तरह से ये हमें इम्पैक्ट करेगा?
हाँ जी, yes, thank you. I would like to explain the context. The impact of it on Indian situation. Okay, so obviously, for whatever reasons that you mentioned, that Indonesia wants to do export canalization. Basically, every player for about 30 million tons of oil will have to route through an export agency, which is named by Danantara, which is the agency in Indonesia. And so at the outset, it does look like their intention is something else, which is like tighter control, export invoicing to be corrected, free flow of goods. But when it comes to implementation, there would be a lot of challenges. That's why the markets were down in the last couple of days. And S&P and Moody actually have downgraded Indonesian situation, and their Sensex has lost about JCI, it is called Indonesia, and it's lost about 12 to 13%. Okay, so these are the immediate knee-jerk reactions that have happened. I think there has been a corrective mood right now in the last 24 hours. Now what is happening is that there was initially a lot of confusion. Okay, now they're saying that Indonesian government is saying that all the old contracts will be honored. There is no problem. We are not stopping anything. It is not like the ban that has happened a couple of 2-3 years back. It is only a regulatory thing, and also no disruption in supply chain. So the market questions basically are how it is going to work, whether it is possible, what is the magnitude of this task, how will people negotiate, how will people, wash out. Sometimes the vessels are not available. So these are the practical implications. So I would put, from my perspective, anywhere between 3 to 6 months for this issue to get resolved by itself, because it's, as you can see, it is really mammoth task of recanalizing the whole thing. Number 2,
Mr.
what are the
Desai,
impacts for India?
मिस्टर देसाई, जब आप कहते हैं कि 3 to 6 months में ये रिजॉल्व हो जाएगा, तो ये करेक्ट हो जाएगा या फिर आपको लगता है वो ट्रांजिशन हो जाएगा?
Okay, let me clarify. ये situation clarity आ जाएगा कि कैसे होगा ये. Okay. So because there are a lot of implementation challenges, I think everybody is recognizing now. Why it is important for global market? Yes, it is a big thing because Indonesia produces 58% of the world market production, and Indonesia also exports total of 30 million tons to everywhere. And India, we buy about 3.5, 3.3 million tons of palm oil from Indonesia. Now currently it looks like there is no disruption as such. It's not the same situation as the ban, like I said, but it is going to, a lot of clarity is going to come in. But one assurance that we got from Danantara recently, I think just about a few hours ago, that there's no problem for all the old contracts. It's not a force majeure. Everything will be honored. But the government said that we will review those prices. But technically, actually, every exporter from Indonesia applies through PEB, where the details are given already. So all the details are available. So we don't know how it shapes. As far as Indian context is concerned, yes,
Right.
it is a good news for Malaysia. We can continue to import from Malaysia. From Indonesia also, I don't see, like I said, I don't see any restrictive trade practice. It is only that they want to recalibrate, re-regulate the exports. The In a nutshell, these challenges will be very difficult to overcome. It will take a lot of time, and a postponement of this decision is in the offing. I feel when I summarize the whole situation the way I'm trying to think. Yeah.
ओके मिस्टर देसाई, एक और चीज़ है यहाँ पर जहाँ तक इंडोनेशिया की बात आती है। एक तरफ वो यहाँ पर B40 का B50 करना चाहते हैं, दूसरा वो एक्सपोर्ट्स रिस्ट्रिक्ट करना चाहते हैं या अपने कंट्रोल में लेके आना चाहते हैं। तो जिस तरह से वहाँ पर फीलर्स आ रहे हैं और जिस तरह की वहाँ पर स्टेटमेंट्स है, आपको लगता है लेसर एंड लेसर पाम ऑयल हम वहाँ से आता हुआ देखेंगे?
देखिए 3.3 मिलियन टन तो ऑयल तो आना ही पड़ेगा वहां से, बिकॉज इंडिया नीड्स दैट ऑयल एंड इंडोनेशिया नीड्स इंडियन मार्केट फॉर दैट मच ऑफ ऑयल। B50 नए होने के कारण टेक्निकल हो सकता है। आई थिंक दे ऑलरेडी स्लो टॉकिंग अबाउट अ फ्लो डाउन in the biodiesel to B45. So there will be some correction on the biodiesel. Um, it is not something that we should be worried about as a supply chain major disruption. I think that's the intent Indonesia also expressed. I think the supplies will continue, which is one of the good news. And second, in terms of markets, it is bigger than what palm oil is, because the Indonesian government is talking about this for coal also, for example, for ferroalloys. They're talking about many commodities in which Indonesia exports. So export canalization is a tough thing. From Indian impact point of view, I was also thinking that, see, all our trades are governed through ASEAN treaty. Okay. So whether it will be called restrictive trade practice is not, we are yet to think on those lines. It is not a restrictive trade practice because they are also guaranteeing that it is only rerouting. It's not a restriction. But
Okay.
if the prices are going to be decided by a government agency or a third party, then from my point of view, it is not a free market operation. So these two are the areas in which I see a concern or a need for clarity about what is going to happen. It is something to watch as to what's going to happen. But this should cause a selling pressure. There are long liquidation in the BMT because of this issue. There is a selling pressure, and that's why the market is down. So I would say probably it might be eventually buying opportunity for India, because we also need to buy the forward future contracts.
मिस्टर देसाई, जैसे आपने कहा जो 3.5 मिलियन टन इंडिया को चाहिए, वो तो इन सम सेंस हमें चाहिए ही। वो शायद कॉन्वर्सेशंस ऑन हायर लेवल्स भी करके लेना पड़े तो शायद लेना ही होगा। जिस तरह से हम इंडियन फूड सिक्योरिटी की बात करते हैं, जिस तरह से हमारी डिपेंडेंस आउटसाइड ऑयल पर है, हम बाकी दूसरी कंट्रीज़ में भी यहाँ पर अब तेल लेने लगे हैं। अर्जेंटीना है, पापुआ गिनिया है, नई नई यहाँ पर डेस्टिनेशंस रादर ओरिजिन्स उभरते हुए नजर आए हैं। कैसे देखते हैं आप ये? इज इट अ नियर टर्म थ्रेट, या फिर आपको लगता है आप एट ऑल बिल्कुल भी वरीड नहीं हैं इस मामले में?
Manisha ji, I think slightly differently. I think being a big buyer is also a big power. Okay. Yes, of course, India is the largest buyer. We are dependent, but it's also power. As I can see from the recent past 1 or 2 years, any country which has got surpluses, whether it is canola or whether it is Iraq or whether it is Russia, any one of the places, I think the natural choice for selling oil is India. So I would be less concerned because of B50, which you mentioned. If the prices of palm oil go up, for example, okay. So I think we will have to start developing as part of the strategy to de-risk in terms of supply chain security, food security, oil security point of view. But I think there are enough avenues. Thailand, for example, has started yielding 1.2 million tons in the last 1 or 2 years. So I think eventually market will take its course. But I don't believe that because there is a regulatory change, It will change the supply-demand dynamics. You see, it would still remain that this much of oil would have to find its way, whether it's to India or anywhere. But like I said, we are not talking about 3 million tons of India import. We are talking about total exports of Indonesia. I don't see a problem. I see that these issues will get settled soon. It's too early actually to comment so much on the next day. Maybe I took the risk, but it will take some time to resolve itself.
जी मिस्टर देसाई अप्रिशिएट आपका टाइम। यहाँ पर एक फाइनल सवाल यहाँ पर है, जैसे आपने कहा कि अभी भी शायद अर्ली है, क्लैरिटी अभी भी आती रहेगी दिनों में, आपकी कॉन्वर्सेशंस वहाँ पर एजेंसी के साथ एंड आई एम अज्यूमिंग बहुत सारे एक्सपोर्टर्स के साथ भी वहाँ पर होगी। मेजर मुद्दे अब मेजर जो टू इंश्योर सिक्योरिटी की वो फ्लोज हमें मिलते रहें, प्राइसिंग यहाँ पर फेयर हो, तो क्या टॉप ऑफ द माइंड है इन सेंस ऑफ कॉन्वर्सेशन वहाँ पर?
So everybody is concerned. Remember that the Indonesian exports are more concerned about this than us, than the Indian buyers, because it's a complete unthought of change. It's like such a big mammoth business to be routed through a canalized agency. What the reasons why they are intending to do are clear, but these implementation changes will take some time. I again re-emphasize that the government policies of this nature is not like a ban. It won't change the supply-demand dynamics. The mutual dependency of Indian market and Indonesian market to import and to trade will still remain because it's big enough oil quantum.